Hey guys, let me get my drink open. We'll talk. I'm getting food. So I figured I would go live with you guys and give you guys a little update, what's been going on and everything. So let me just get a little caffeine in me. You may also notice there is like pretty much no purple left in the hair at all. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. I don't know. I kind of like just like maybe a little bit, because I'm actually pretty good at dyeing hair. I've done it for years. I know that's probably something you didn't expect, right? I've so basically all of my girlfriends that I've ever had, I've pretty much dyed their hair. So that's where that comes from, is like, they wanted their hair dyed. It's like, I don't want to spend all this money. It's like, oh, I'll do it for you. I don't really care. It's not the most pleasant experience, smelling all of the chemicals, but if you really care about what you're doing, you'll do a better job a lot of times than somebody in a place that's charging money, unless it's like, reputable and like charge out the ass. But who wants to do that, right? Let's go get some food. I can't keep the light on, but as I drive, it's just because I'm in the shade here, guys. Okay. Yeah, it's just because I was in the shade. So, yeah, there's like no purple left in there at all. And this was a name brand. I'm trying to think. It's definitely one of those ones where like the box is made to look cool. So I was already a little hesitant. I probably shouldn't have, right? I don't know what it is about like this. The moment I get live, I have like this. I think it's because like there's dust in my. I know, like I'm edging my nose. I think it's because the moment that I get live, a lot of times I turn on the air and like all the dust comes out. I should probably get an air filter then, right? Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Anyway, we'll just add that to the list of things I'm doing, because that's where I was gonna update what's been going on. So I have a lot that I've been trying to tackle in my real life versus the channel. And obviously, you guys, I wanna be doing regular channel things, keeping you guys updated and things like that. And I'll probably still do. I know it's been a while since we did our old school channel update thing, where I used to update you guys pretty regularly. From my old school format, where I would, run you through, this is what we're going to be doing. And go through segments by segment. It's been a while since I've done that, and I would like to do another one of those soon. So maybe we'll do another one of those soon. How we used to do it. It's just that this is kind of part of the update, right? This is the life update. I am one person, and a lot of times when you sit and you spend time editing and making things look pretty, you don't get much out of that. You really don't. As a content creator, you really don't get much out of these things unless you already have an established following, and then they see it. Oh, they're like, oh wow, this quality. Let's spread this around. Then you get that following. So like spending a whole lot of time doing like this or that with edits and things, I'm very picky about how I do that anymore, because I spent a good year doing really quality edits and uploads and things where I was like, all right, I want my brand to be on point. And all I saw in return was maybe 20 or 30 or so, like subs ish. Now, I will always appreciate new subs, and I will always appreciate, growing the channel and everything. But let's be honest, that doesn't help. I mean, we have to be honest, that's nothing. The 20 or 30 subs, that's nothing. And I appreciate it and I love it. That's not the growth that I want, obviously. So I have to think smarter, I have to get smarter. And so like the amount of time that I was spending on that versus what I could have been doing. For example, as the Diablo 3 season was winding down, people were asking me to play my seasonal character, the last Diablo 3 season, and I just didn't. I'll flat out admit it's a lot of uploads and things like that. This is why I started. Much easier to just do stuff where I can upload a nature video. I know I need to do that. I'm getting there. But at the same time, I also want that stuff to be quality too. And I've had some issues with YouTube recently with uploads and understanding that my live isn't the same resolution as my upload. That's completely separate. That's from my phone. Like I don't understand what YouTube's doing half the time. But I digress on that. Let's move forward and talk about the actual, updates. I'm getting a pizza. Well, I'm getting two actually. That was the life update. Guys, a lot of what I'm doing is just trying to get healthy, trying to get healthier, and trying to work on. Hey, Spy Boy. Try to work on basically just. Yes, I do. I have lost a lot of weight over the past 2 years. Specifically, the past year, I lost a staggering amount of weight due to stress and things like that affecting my health. And so the past few days, guys, that's sort of what I've been trying to focus on, is what is my diet and what is my exercise schedule. Because, for the longest time I taught martial arts. I didn't need one. I didn't sit on my ass and play video games all day. I didn't need an exercise schedule. I taught martial arts. Why would I need it? I just did it all the time. So I needed an exercise schedule, and I needed to get things in order with, as far as getting my mindset on being healthy and eating the right things. So for me, I've always had a fast metabolism. But my sugar is low. Naturally, it's called hypoglycemia, and it just means you have less sugar in your blood, and just naturally. So that's why you guys can see me. I drink these energy drinks with lots of sugar in them. I can eat candy and stuff like that. A lot of why I do that is because if I sit for too long without consuming sugar, I will start to feel bad, irritable, but beyond that, to the point that it'll be more of an irritation, less of an irritation, and more of I need to eat something immediately before I pass out. It'll be the sort of thing where I just won't feel very good. So a lot of what I deal with regularly is just the fact that if I put on too much weight, my body likes that. Does that make sense? If I get to a certain point, because I'm hypoglycemic, it will get used to the fact that it has all this extra sugar, and it'll be like, yes, 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 more, more, more. So I've discovered that once I hit like the 200 range with my weight, after that point, you will not stop gaining. So like that's that sweet spot, I think, right around two. Now it depends on your height too, but like I was getting closer to like 220. I was up there, and yeah, I was definitely, I had muscle for sure at 220, but at the same time, let's be honest, some of that was fat. So I wanted to lose it and get lean, but at the same time, on top of it, I was also losing because of stress and stuff like that. So it just doubled down on me. And I got back to like the weight that I was basically in high school. Even worse. Even worse. And we're talking like light enough that, you know, like a doctor would be concerned sort of thing. Like if I didn't tell them, you know, well, in high school I really was this light. Yeah, like it's the sort of thing where like you can look at my skin and just tell like, well, I'm all right, you know. So moving forward, I need to be consistently eating calories, taking in calories if I'm going to be gaining, but then at the same time I'm sitting, being live with you guys. So I just had to figure out what my schedule is going to be as far as when I go and work out, when I do that, then when I get on the stream with you guys and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to do that now, and I've been working on that the past couple of days. I did actually, I went for a nice long mountain hike and everything. So I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, my legs are killing me. When I go for a mountain hike, you guys, I don't just hike, I run. So the funny thing about that is most people, like, they'll start getting tired. They'll be like walking through the woods. They'll be like, oh man, I'm so tired. Can't we just turn back? Can we take a rest? Blah, blah, blah. That I like that. Once I start feeling tired, I want to keep going. I like that. I don't know why. I just, for some reason, working out and feeling tired, like, it's a good feeling for me. And I'd like to keep working out when I feel that way. It's almost like that rewarding experience where I know I'm getting something in return for it, you know. It's one of the only times in life where you can get something directly out of what you put into it, I think. Because a lot of times in life, that's not the case. You know, I heard this a very wise man did once tell me, you know, you get out of life what you put into it. But it's not direct. It really isn't. And that's what he didn't get at the time that he told me that, I think. He probably gets it now. But that's just it. You don't get out of life directly what you put into it most times. But you do get out what you put in. If that makes sense. A lot of times it's very indirect, though. So you have to put a lot more in than what you get out because of how indirect it is. But working out, being athletic, was one of the only times in life you get out of what you put into it. And sometimes even more so. You know, if you are already athletic, you know, you're dieting right and stuff like that, and then you go out, you know, and you know what you're doing, you're going to get out of that workout more than somebody that's just jogging or whatever it is they're doing, you know. So anyway, you know, with my teeth the way they are, trying to get that situation taken care of eventually and all that, I also realized that I have to try to get some sugar-free stuff too. So like I that's why I like the G Fuel and a lot of those other energy drinks that have the sugar-free. But I mean, I'm not going to stop eating things with sugar in them, and that's completely unrealistic to think that I am. And not only that, most things have sugar in them. Yeah, I mean, come on, pizza has sugar in it. So, I mean, just, it's the sort of thing where it's not going to happen. I'm not built that way. So, regardless, I've gotten a lot of that figured out now. And moving forward with the channel gaming and stuff, what's to come, we have alright, so recently I did the Cyberpunk 2.0 update. We did the update. That was looking pretty freaking good. Guys, there's some really glaring things that are very obviously better about the game than you know, was before. Some very, very glaringly obvious things that are way, way, way better about the game than they were before. And that's a good thing, because the game should always be improving. Like, that's just it. If you abandon the game to move on to something else, and that was something we were all worried they would do because of, like, PlayStation moving it from the store, and, like, just all the returns, everybody wanted their money back. People were pissed about this game, right? No, they still haven't abandoned it. So, thank you, CD Projekt Red. We should be saying thank you to them. Thank you for, you know, not listening to all the haters, all the MDLs that were out there that claimed to be lovers of this game, but then really just trashed it the entire time. Now, all to come back now and say, oh, look how good the game is. I've always said the game was good. I just couldn't stream it. I mean, I've always said that. I even told you guys this. I even was the one telling you guys, you know, it's flat out the same company as The Witcher 3. And, you know, like, they have their own engine for this stuff. They developed an engine specifically for this. That was the whole point, was that halfway through they scrapped what they did to use the new engine. That was the point. They wanted it to look that much better, and it does. Aren't you glad they did that? Thank you, CD Projekt Red. Yeah, thank you for having the balls to say, no, this is going to be the future. Let's scrap everything and start over. Thank you. That's how I look at it. That's flat out how I look at that, guys. And I think that's how everybody is going to look at it in time. I think it's just taking people a little bit of time. Now, as far as the comparisons, everybody, like, every fucking video, like the damn trend, every fucking video I see is Starfield compared to Cyberpunk. And, alright, look. The reason people are doing this is because Cyberpunk was so controversially bad when it came out with graphics. So bad. But now, comparatively, it isn't. And Starfield itself, people are saying, has dated graphics and things like that. Depends on your system. Starfield is optimized for the newest systems. So if you have a 4 card and you have a Series X, not an S, a Series X, because I think that one's a little bit better, right? Yeah. So if you have the Series X or the 4 Series card, which I have a 3 Series card, but I don't have a 4 Series card, but I do have a Series X. I do have an Xbox Series X. Starfield does kind of arguably look a little bit better on my Xbox, but only with frame rate. Yeah, Only with frame rate. Everything else still looks better on PC, even with the 3 Series card. So that's what I'm getting at. And that's the only comparison. We're just comparing graphics. They're not the same game. And I love what Cookie said on that. Go check out his, if you guys didn't check it out, he has a new video recently, comparing them too. And that was exactly what he said too. It's just basically they're not comparable. The only comparison is just comparing the controversial graphics then to now. And yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm glad he said that too. They're two very different games. You don't compare them. What I do think is great is that finally people are starting to compare Starfield with Fallout 4. That is comparable. Thank you. Good job. That's what you should be comparing. Compare Bethesda's bowl of slop of Fallout 4 release, which we all know was a bowl of slop. It really was. It was a bowl of slop on release. But we still loved it. Because it wasn't the bowl of slop that Starfield is. And that's what I think a lot of people are starting to realize, is that, let's be honest, Starfield was a little bit on the lazy side as far as some of their other releases. Skyrim was hilarious at release. Fucking hilarious. But it had this just genuine, lovable quality about it, out of a game that you've never quite seen before. Starfield almost did that for me. Like, I was so close to feeling that way, and then I started having all those, like, little tiny bugs and issues that I didn't have an answer to and stuff like that. So I feel like it's so close to being that gem I want it to be. And I think in maybe a year it'll be there. But I think that having a game where you're relying on the mod community to tell you the direction you should go with your game, it's kind of obvious they did that. It's kind of obvious they saw what happened with Skyrim and went, let's build a game around this, instead of let's build a game the way we've always done so that people can count on a consistent product. That's how I feel about Starfield. We're going to talk about Cyberpunk in a second. I need to go get my pizza. Thank you guys for joining me, Spy Boy. I see you. I'll be back. Alright, let's hit the pizza level. You guys want to see it? You guys always want to see it, right? Oh my god.
fucking good.
How do you all not like Pizza Hut? Like, I don't get it. I really don't understand. Like, just, you're all still going to Domino's, and I don't really get it. I really don't. Like, no offense. I'm not trying to be, like, rude or anything. I don't get it. I mean, they're doing it better, and they have been. When I can look like that almost every time I get it. Yeah, I mean, given that you know, any place is guaranteed to mess up once in a while. Every single time I go to Domino's, there's something wrong with it. It's every time, and I'm not, like, it's not hard to make a pizza. So we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk. I know you guys are curious. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? I can play the game now. It's as simple as that. I was able to play the game before, but I didn't play it a lot on Steam because it did sort of barely run. Yeah, it kind of did. Now, it ran all right once I got the new card, but I still feel like it really wasn't up to par until the solid state drive. Like, the solid state drive really pushed it over the edge. Windows really has sort of stopped support for mechanical drives, guys. Like, if you're on mechanical drives, even if your games are installed on them, I'd highly recommend at this point, just do yourself a favor. Just whatever you gotta do, get that solid state, slap it in there, don't. And if you think that you should be on Windows 11 right now, you're a fool. Don't upgrade to Windows 11. You're gonna have a huge slew of problems. Unless, like, you work for Microsoft or something like that, then have at it. And then you probably get the first updates and blah, 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 and you can deal with problems directly. But other than that, other than those few people that are going to have, like, no issues, just stay on 10 for a while if you can. I mean, I know 10's not great. It's not. But a lot of the issues I was having with Windows updates causing problems, I think, was actually related to the fact that I didn't have a solid state drive. It was literally that. Windows had no freaking idea how to access certain drives at certain times it needed to for framework, and it has to do with you know, just the way the partitions work for Windows formatting, NTSC, and all that. A lot of the stuff that you guys would probably find boring if I sat here and talked about it. Basically, Windows is on the very most basic probably way of saying this is that Windows and Microsoft still use a very archaic formatting system for hard drives. They know it. A lot of people know it. Nobody's doing anything about it except, oh, let's just go to solid state. Yeah, we'll do that. That'll fix everything. Let's just make everything cache much faster instead of fixing the original problem. So instead of making Windows more efficient and software more efficient, we've just gone to the next hardware. And this is how we should look at gaming and laziness moving forward. This brings me to Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was done in a way that was not lazy. It was done in a way that, in my opinion, Starfield should have been done. Where you take your time to build this around a new engine. You know, like something we haven't seen before. And then that way as all of the stuff comes out and you get newer cards and newer series, the game can look a million times better 2, 3, 4 years from now, as Cyberpunk is. You won't really get that with Starfield. Eventually Starfield's just going to start looking the same for everybody and won't look better as time goes on. Cyberpunk will. Still. And that's why. And tacking new textures like DLSS and stuff like that onto old systems is bad. It bogs it down. It causes needs for patching and all kinds of stuff that you guys don't want to see. That's the point. So you're using old systems, but throwing all these new things in there. So Cyberpunk, it did it right. And this is the issue, is that everybody wants to port everything, and that's the point, is that a lot of coders these days really just have no fucking clue what they're doing. A lot of these guys are literally just lazy, don't know what they're doing, somehow getting jobs, and they want to port it because that's how they know how to do it, and it's so easy to do. So they'll just optimize it for Xbox or for PlayStation, and then they'll have to deal with the console battles. That's it. And then they just mark it for whatever they've optimized for, and then the console wars start. So that's exactly what happened. That brings me to Starfield. Now, you guys saw the full run of exactly what happens when you don't do that with Cyberpunk. The reason why when Cyberpunk came out and all of the Xbox people could run it and everybody else couldn't was because that was the point. The old gen systems can't handle that. For them to have said that they could, they should have known was a lie. I'll admit that. But at the same time, you have to realize what that was doing. That's the point, is that they shouldn't have lied about it and being optimized for the old systems because they knew it wasn't. But if you optimize for the future instead of just for like what you're on, as things come out and get better, the game gets better. And we might need some of those producers and stuff like that to stop being jerks and trying to just grab cash by saying, oh yeah, you can play this on the PS4. They should have postponed release until there was more PS5s out and more Series X out and more people could buy the game, and that way that would boost sales and boost interest again and things like that. But I think that's what it was. They were going to lose investors, and a lot of it came down to that. Losing investors and people that were in the game were considering pulling out and stuff that would change things and cost them money, and they had to pump it out. So I admit that they did say that it was ready for the old gen, but I was the one telling all of my friends, and now I wasn't streaming at the time, so that's unfortunate, but I was telling everyone I knew, don't count on this working on your one. Don't count on that. It's not. It might, but don't count on it. And it was barely passable on I had a 1X. It was the Cyberpunk 1X. So it was barely passable on even the Cyberpunk 1X. So that says it right there. The 1 had problems. If the 1X even has problems, the 1's gonna have problems. So that's where it was with a lot of people, is like they were just like, how can you say this game wasn't trash? Well, a lot of it just came down to exactly what I said. The investors wanting to pull out, the game needing to release, and consoles being in a weird spot. It was not optimized for console, as you guys can see now. It really wasn't. Really wasn't. It was optimized for anybody. It was just optimized. And that I like, that I appreciate. It's like the first thing in forever that you can't say is not a port. You see what I'm saying? Like, what can we say is not a port? Starfield was. So that's how I feel about Cyberpunk. And we're apparently getting another Witcher game. That's good news. It's very good news. You know what would be great? And you guys probably know what I'm gonna say. I would love it. I would love it if they stuck it to Netflix and they said F you and hired Henry Cavill and continued the fucking story. Man, that would be fucking great, wouldn't it? It'd be like a huge screw you to Netflix for your stupid BS, for canceling like some of the best cinematography, some of the best freaking things we've seen on a live action screen in years. And then you cancel it. It would be a nice big FU, I think, to Netflix to hire Henry Cavill and continue the main story as Geralt. I think it would be great. Now, they would have to go back, right? Or continue in such a way. Obviously, I'm not trying to spoil anything. Has everybody played the game? They would have to go back. We know this, right? So, they could do it. I mean, in my opinion, they have a really good Geralt, and I know that Henry thinks so too. He loved what I can't think. I feel bad because I can't think of the guy's name that played him. Cavill loves that guy, and I appreciate the love for him because I think he's great. He's a good Geralt. So like, they would have to agree that not to go with him, or maybe go with both in some alternate interesting reality. Maybe some sort of time spell, some kind. Be interesting, wouldn't it? I think it would piss off Witcher fans if they did something like that, because I think that's just too much of a big scale. I don't think they'd like it, because that's not really what The Witcher is. But I don't know. It's up to the writers. I mean, maybe they're always planning on having it go bigger anyway, like sort of like Lord of the Rings. You know how like that started off as like, a Hobbit's tale, just like a story about a Hobbit, but then he just goes on this epic freaking journey, and it just turns into just the most epic shit you could ever possibly imagine. Like this elf I was there. However, thousands of years. What did he say? I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings movies more than a couple of times, so I don't know. Thousands of years. I love Hugo Weaving though, and if you don't even know who that actor is, shame on you for liking Lord of the Rings and not knowing who Hugo Weaving is. Because that man was V, and V for Vendetta. That man was fucking Megatron. Yeah, that's right. He was Megatron. And he was also Agent Smith. He was an excellent Agent Smith. He was the only one that should have played Agent Smith. Hear my words. He was the only one that should have played Agent Smith. Oh man, the fact that they recasted that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to Idris Elba. I think we all are. Who isn't? Idris is phenomenal. I want to see what he's going to be in next. I want to see his next project too, because I think he's a great actor. Like just in general, but He's a phenomenal choice for Cyberpunk. I mean, Keanu was too. Let's be honest. Obviously, he's the center of that since having been Neo. We all know that, right? Like, we accept that he was in all those really bad. He was in, well, I shouldn't say all those. He was in a couple really bad sci-fi flicks. He was Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic, by the way, is before Dragon Ball Evolution. That was probably like what I would have told you is like the worst movie I've ever seen. But like, I don't know, because Keanu was in it. It sort of had just like this charm where I just had to keep watching. But I laughed so hard at how bad his lines were delivered. Since like he was not. If you guys want to go back and see how he has evolved, because Keanu really wasn't a very good actor when he started off. I love the dude, but even I'm sure even he can admit that like he had some learning to do. He was bad at first. He like Johnny Mnemonic was just awful. But like I think he started getting a lot better once he started working with more professional people, and that's just it. Like you give the guy a chance, and suddenly he explodes and proves what he's got. Speed. Point Break, I think was a big one, and then like he started getting more roles like Speed and stuff. So I think he learned a lot from Point Break. But like Speed was just, I think, that one where I think after that everybody's like, yeah, I want to see Keanu in this or that, and then he got The Matrix, obviously, and I think he landed the role in 96. They started filming in 97 and came out around 98, 99, something like that. So he's had a long career of I mean, come on, Bill and Ted. Well, it's basically a live action Beavis and Butthead. It's basically what it is. So like nobody, like I obviously loved that growing up, but like even growing up when I was watching it, nobody thought it was good. Like we all sort of laughed at how bad it was. That's the point. So it wasn't supposed to be good. But you know, fast forward to today, I think he's a great actor, and I think he was perfect in The Matrix. I think I can't imagine anyone else being Neo, and that's so disappointed in basically how they redid the new movie. I think that if they were going to throw away everything they worked for and treat it that way, they should have been willing to let someone else do it. Because that really ticked me off, that because they acted like, well, we don't want anyone else to touch our creative interest, we want to do it. But then when they did it, they just shit all over their own, like they shit all over their own universe. That really ticked me off. The Matrix is such a cool concept, and there's really not much else like it other than some like one-off animes that we got here and there that they're one-off. You know, you get a season or something, and that's it. So it's like, I'd love to see something. You know, like Ghost in the Shell, and then they came out with that, and then just trashed the character. Yeah, like Scarlett Johansson was a great choice, and then just trashed the character. So it's like, we didn't even get close, you know. We're gonna get close, and then that is like, nope. The Matrix though, like that's like the perfect way to do it, and it's like, no, they want to stop everyone else from trying to do it, and then they just screw it up. All right, guys. Well, as far as like a stream is concerned, I don't know about today. We'll see. We're gonna be playing Phantom Liberty. I do need to eat some food because I have my pizza. But I think we're gonna be playing some Phantom Liberty, obviously. Cyberpunk is very solid. The DLSS 3.5 is almost unnoticeable. Yeah, I don't really notice any difference. I think texture crispness is where you're going to notice the difference in that. So like on the faces, and so like Johnny's face and stuff like that, I think that's where some of that's going to come into play, because like as the character moves, I think the way the AI technology works is sometimes it can't really adjust as well. So I think they just needed to take a look at that, and I think they did. So I think that's the answer to why like some of that looks a little better. Johnny Silverhand, Keanu's character, definitely like more detailed face and things like that. The new police system's really fun. I delved into that like right away. I got maxed out stars and then beat it like right away. That was fun. All these bots chased me. Had fun with the cars, hacking the cars, making them drive. You can hack a car and make it drive uncontrollably and crash. Fun stuff. You can just literally bring out your weapon and shoot from your car. Love it. So much fun. So yeah, like the game's great. I have a lot of fun with it. I saw Asmund say I didn't like catch the thing yet, but I saw that he posted the video thinking about playing it now. He's gonna play it. Guarantee you he's gonna play it. So just look forward to Asmund playing it now too. It's gonna bring a huge community of people, I think. It's good. That's good for the game. I'm looking forward to seeing some of his content on it, but we are gonna play it. I appreciate all of you watching the stream. You guys, for all of you who came into that last stream, you liked the stream. Thank you, I appreciate that. I realized I didn't stick a thumbnail on there. I just feel like some of those you don't really. Who needs a thumbnail for some of those? You know what it is, right? I did make it the image of Johnny because I wanted you guys to see definitively, and you can even tell from the thumbnail he just looks better, like he's just more detailed, and some of the city is a little bit more flush, like as far as the way it looks. You don't see as many of the lines jittering in the distance that you used to. That's nice. So they did seem to sort of adjust that a bit with the AI too, and you can really tell in those wideouts like that where you're looking at the city line and stuff. Really cool. That's something that almost nobody has figured out. So it's cool that NVIDIA's finally getting that down. And that's the difference is a lot of this comes down to competition, to Radeon and AMD wanting you to use their stuff, and then so therefore Intel partners with NVIDIA, and we have a battle. And Xbox uses AMD, PlayStation uses NVIDIA. So basically you have that battle then too for the console wars, and then that's the way the porting works, is one's ported for either NVIDIA, PlayStation, or another one's ported for Xbox, AMD/Radeon, and therefore it works better on people's PCs who would then either have NVIDIA, PlayStation, or AMD Radeon Xbox. So therefore, if it's ported for one or the other, it's just going to look better on whoever has that card versus the other. That's literally how porting works. That's why we don't like. It's why PC gamers just they face palm the moment they hear it. It's like, great. So my buddy that has an NVIDIA card's not going to be able to play this with me just because he has an NVIDIA card. Fantastic. So I got to find someone else to play the game with now. It's literally like the history of dealing with this. So that's the way it works, guys. And the further we get from this, doing these things, the better it's going to get. I also, one thing I was going to say, shit, I just lost it. NVIDIA is typically better. Yeah, they're typically just ahead on the technology, and I think that AMD doesn't really like this and like to admit this, because AMD is ahead on the CPU technology. So that's just it. Like, if they would just work together, it would just be a no contest, but they won't. Now, that's what gets me. I like AMD CPUs. They are better. Benchmark, I'm not just trying to, be like an Xbox guy or anything, because I'm really not like that. AMD benchmark really will get better because they can run cooler. No matter what you do, they will be better because they run cooler. It's as simple as that. That really is all it comes down to. It can do more calculations because it's running cooler. It gets hotter, less calculations. That's it. And AMD CPUs have almost always been like this. And like people, like I used to tell people this in the past that would like build CPU, like build PCs and stuff. I'm sorry, they wouldn't build them, but their friends would. And then like if I told them this would anger them because, they of course think the other way around. And if somebody becomes angry over new information, it's because they know you're right and they've heard this before, and now that this is now multiple times they're hearing it, so now they're thinking to themselves, is this really right? So instead of accepting it, they're just becoming angry at you and taking it out on you. This is literally like adults with everything anymore. They won't accept new information. They'll just be like, no, you're wrong. Well, I promise you guys, the AMD CPUs are way cooler. They're better. They're just better. They're more efficient, and they run cooler. It's as simple as that. And then NVIDIA GPUs are better than Radeon. So, since I'm a guy that uses AMD CPUs, but NVIDIA GPUs, that causes my issue. I have a lot of issues just because these companies compete with each other. Yeah, they literally do not want me using my NVIDIA card with my AMD CPU. They really just want me to get an Intel. Intel's like, no, how dare he? It's messed up. So anyway, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, we're going to play that. That's coming. Like I said, I don't know about today. I'm a little tired, but maybe like if I feel like playing something chill, I'll just hang out or something. We'll play something chill. I don't know. But I don't see a lot of even people coming in here, so I think people are just busy tonight. As far as on the personal level, really all I got left to do, well, yeah, I gotta work on some stuff, but that's all. A lot of that I have figured out now. I think the next thing is to figure out what I'm doing with this. I'm like looking at it right now. I'm thinking, should I just do it? Should I just dye it? I'm really sad that all the purple came out so quick, and like it's not very good to dye it like right away again. But kind of wanted it to be a certain color, and it's just not even like it's not even light. It's sort of like darker too. So yeah, I'll probably just change it. I don't know. I just got to figure it out. Thanks guys for hanging out. I just wanted to give you all my my updates on everything. But I gotta head in. Take care, everybody. Peace.